Hey, good morning, everyone. I know did a video recently on the Rosary, but I wanted to do a more in-depth one, and I think it has a pretty cool story that I didn't tell last time. So, if you guys remember my last video, I showed you guys my Rosary that I got when I was in prison, and it means a lot to me. I feel like it got me through some crazy days and crazy situations, and even just taking the time out of your day to really focus on God and just forgetting about all the other problems in your life, even if you're sitting in prison, um, can never be bad. It can never hurt you. It can just help you. And I feel like those moments that I took out of my day in prison to really focus on the Lord really helped me get out of prison because it kept my head on a straight and narrow path instead of just falling to temptation and just being involved in all the all the ruckus inside, right? So that's my current rosary. I found this rosary the last time I was at my parents' place. I found it in the basement, and it's my old rosary from when I was a teenager. Mind you, I wasn't at all religious as a teenager, um, especially when I got this rosary, and I really only got it um, because I thought it looked cool. It was a fashion icon to me, and I couldn't afford the big gold chains that gangsters wear, and so I used this instead as a substitute. And I wore this on countless trips to the bar, and countless other sins that I was committing at the time. And I feel like that was the start of a downfall because the rosary is a powerful weapon, and I feel like I was almost like wearing it in vain, right? Like almost taking the Lord's name in vain. I would put it on, kind of representing something that I was not. And I actually wore this rosary on the night that I caught a murder charge. Um, and I haven't seen it since, actually. I guess the police gave it to my dad, and my dad never showed it to me until I seen it one day in our basement. um, now, I just think it's almost full circle that I wasn't religious at all, and I had this rosary. And now all these years later, almost 14 years later since that murder charge, and I'm sitting here as a Catholic trying to spread the word of God with my new rosary, and I have the old rosary that I was wearing when I caught a murder charge. And just it seems like a full circle moment. So that's my little story about this rosary. I think it's kind of interesting. Um, so I just wanted to give you some background on the rosary that I didn't give you guys last time. It was developed gradually between the 12th and 15th centuries. So there's a lot of people involved in making the rosary, but most of the credit usually goes to Saint Dominic. Um, so you'll see Catholics mostly with the rosary, and they'll say a prayer, and then go to a different bead. And it's really just to help keep track of all the prayers because each decade, so these 10 beads in a row, that's a decade, they're Hail Marys. So you got to keep track of the Hail Marys. And then there's Our Fathers thrown in there and a bunch of different other prayers. Um, there's also with the Rosary 5 mysteries that go with the 5 decades. So each day are different mysteries, and mysteries are just events. So events that happen to either Mary or Jesus. Um, like if we go here, today is Saturday, and Saturday is the joyful mysteries. So we think about the Annunciation, the Visitation, the Nativity of Jesus, the presentation in the temple, and the finding of Jesus in the temple. So as we're saying our prayers, we're thinking about those situations. And so a lot of people say, oh, Jesus warns against vain repetition. And what Catholics have to say about that is that the rosary isn't vain repetition, it's meaningful. And Jesus only warns against vain repetition, like the pagans used to do, where they thought if I say a certain phrase or whatever thousands of times, that's going to get me into heaven, and or into their version of heaven. And it's not. It's not the act of doing it. Oh, I've done this a million times, so I'm going to heaven. It's the thought behind it, and that's the difference between vain repetition and meaningful repetition. Like if we go to Psalm 136, um, it says, "For his mercy endureth forever." 26 times in that verse. So, so I think that really shows you that it's the intent of how you're saying the prayers. Um, even in Matthew 6:7, that's where he talks, "But when ye pray, use not vain repetition, as the heathens do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking." Right? That just shows that they're trying to equate the amount of times they pray and the amount of words they use with godliness, and we know that's not true. So real quickly, like the rosary is a very important thing in the church, and you can see that countless people in the church have talked about the rosary. I have two quotes here. One from Pope Pius the 12th. He says, "The rosary is a powerful weapon to put the demons to flight and to keep oneself from sin." Right? And then Saint Padre Pio, "The rosary is the weapon for these times." So it's a very common theme in the church that the rosary is our weapon against evil, against the devil, against sin. And so that's why I always keep it with me um, everywhere I go. And I just try to keep God in the center of my life. And I think by taking the time out of your day to pray the rosary each day, that will truly help you keep God at the center of your life. So I hope you enjoyed my story. It was, I know it was kind of a weird one, a different kind of story. Not a lot of people talk about how they went to prison for a murder charge, but hopefully this video and this message can help reach some people and lead them to Christ. So thanks for watching today, guys, and God bless.